will be making her inaugural hosting debut. That's redundant, of course, but tomorrow night you can join Mary on the Cleveland Funny Bus, funnybus.net. As of a couple hours before the show, there was only one ticket remaining to buy. These usually sell out pretty quickly, but it's a lot of fun if you haven't joined us over the past couple of months for these. Last couple of them, this week and next, with us. They do them through December. Go to funnybus.net. Find out when you can do it. But I got a pair for you for tomorrow night. Leaves from Collision Bend, and it's a lot of fun. So good luck. Caller 10. Join Mary in the Funny Bus tomorrow night. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
What feels great to do is absolutely free, can be done by yourself, and yet no one ever mentions it.
It's the Alan Cox Show on the Buzzard.
They avoided the sweep in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. 12-3 was the final on Sunday. They lost the first two in that series, but pulled out of it there. So Guardians A's, it is the first of three tonight. 7:10 tonight and tomorrow, and then a businessman special on Thursday. And they'll stay home to host the Brewers. And they'll head to Kansas City to play the Royals, who are another awful team right now. Royals are real hot and cold year to year. Never know what you're going to get if you're a Kansas City fan. The A's Guardians tonight, 7:10 on MMS. Right after we roll out at 6:30, your pregame will begin. Of course, you can listen on the iHeartRadio app if you'd like to. If you listen to us from out of state on the app, tell me where. I got a letter from Mike, who is in Hamilton, Ohio. That is north suburban Cincinnati. And he got a new job, and he attached a photo. The person he's replacing or the office that he's moving into, someone put an Alan Cox Show sticker on the ground near the outgoing person had a show sticker at their desk. And so I don't know if Mike took that as a good omen or what, but he's listening there in north suburban Cincinnati. Marty listens to the show in Palm City, Florida. Steve's in Thornton, Colorado. Kristen is in Corpus Christi, Texas. And April listens in Moore Park, California. Alan, did you see about the woman run over by the ambulance in Parma Heights? I did not. Did anybody see that?
That's the best kind of vehicle to get run over by. Just throw her in the back.
Or killed her.
Oh. Well, never mind.
She should have got out of the way and stopped crying.
I guess she should have. This was a 68-year-old woman in Parma Heights, and they had responded to an apartment call to do a welfare check on her. And she told the cops she didn't want, you can refuse treatment or whatever. So she's like, but I guess after the paramedics left, this was in an apartment complex, and nobody noticed that she had gone down the elevator and over to the passenger side of the ambulance where she fell. And they didn't see any of this. So as the ambulance was pulling out, it ran her over and killed her. I don't know how you write that up. We showed up to do a welfare check on her. She was fine until we left. And then she was not fine anymore. What's the opposite of fine?
Dead.
Dead. She was dead. That's the word I'm looking for. She was newly deceased.
But
that's
good
wild.
news and some bad news. We got there. She was just fine.
She was fine when we got there, but she refused treatment right to the bitter end. But that's sad news for a family.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, oh, hopefully this will all get taken care of. But they don't see that she's walking around. You think maybe under those circumstances, somebody might have kept a closer eye on her. But I guess she's an autonomous individual. She goes, get out of here. I'm fine. You know how these old women, and again, this woman wasn't 80, 68. There's nobody know how old she'd be had she lived 1 year longer. But still, she can say, get out of here. And they're like, okay, well, we did what they asked us to do. But maybe it was a one-person ambulance. We hear stories from EMTs all the time about how they're shedding staff. Used to be two-man crews. Maybe now it's one-man crews. And they're not going to do a walk around. Maybe this will usher in some kind of new situation where they go, hey, because of this awful tragedy, before you get back into your rig, just do a once around, you know? I do that, and I'm just a guy out there in the world. I'm just a citizen.
You check for pedestrians?
I will walk around my car.
Every time?
Every time.
Brian does that, but
you know those mirrors, those selfie stick mirrors that they have when you cross the border to make sure that you don't have drugs under your car or anything hanging there? I'll walk around my car with one of those, and then just to be sure, I'll get down on my stomach and I'll look underneath.
Bill, I feel like he's fibbing.
I'll peep the chassis myself. Because you know me.
Why would he lie?
I
what
don't
does he have to gain?
Trust mirrors. And
when should we intervene?
So it's my car, and I'll inspect it as I see fit. And you know what? I have a perfect record of never running anyone over, of never backing over anyone, anything like that. There's never been a person that has been crushed under my wheels, to quote the great Alice Cooper, because I check. And so maybe there in Parma Heights, maybe the local constabulary will suggest that they do the same thing. It can only save lives. Look at a burp. Nope.
Don't you hate that when you have to burp or yawn and it won't come, or sneeze and it won't come out?
Well, my burps are so wildly unimpressive that they're just.
He's got opener burps, not headliner burps.
Yeah,
That's why he leaves before the headliners. You can't relate to him.
Yeah. I was thinking of Poundcake, too, because they were talking about this guy who fell off of that Grand Canyon skywalk. I'm like, this dude jumped. He did not fall. I haven't been on it, but don't they have a huge glass rail that, this guy jumped.
It's not even glass. It's has glass on the side, but it's all steel. It's all metal. He definitely probably.
There's nowhere to fall off, though, is what I'm saying, right? There's a guard that goes up to your chest.
I tell you what, he probably climbed up there and then realized that his shoes were melting because you don't want to touch that railing. It just sits in the sun.
So that's what made him jump?
Yes, because he's like, and his shoes were melting.
This is too hot. Maybe
I couldn't touch the railing. I tried to stay as close as I did.
Maybe the floor of the Grand Canyon will be cooler.
Well, that 30 seconds probably felt real good. He probably got some.
Right, he's got a breeze in his face. He's falling at whatever terminal velocity is there. But
is there more than one skywalk?
No,
just the one.
Just that one on the.
But you were on that, right?
Yeah, I was on that. It's ridiculous though because now obviously it's been tested to hold a certain amount of weight. So no matter what, you're not going to break that glass or bend the glass or bend the steel there. They have you. I think it's honestly just for dramatic effect. They make you take off your shoes and or I don't know if you take off your shoes or you put the little booties on your shoes, so you don't
no static electricity.
I don't know what it was technically.
I mean,
for.
if it's metal, that's probably.
And walking on it, yes.
So you're not like a lightning rod, except you'd be grounded in rubber-soled shoes, I would think.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think it was literally just for dramatic effect, and they don't let you take your phone on because I heard because it added weight. I'm like, no, they're taking pictures and they don't want anyone else taking pictures.
That's right. They want to sell pictures.
It, yeah.
Added weight. Why did they just tell people, we're trying to sell you pictures, all right?
You got to pay for this skywalk.
Do the math.
It's not cheap.
That's right.
It was already yes, walking on it was real.
We had to do a GoFundMe for this skywalk.
It was a real eerie feeling walking on it, but also the anticipation. You're standing in line on the skywalk. You're just standing there, and it's hot, and I already didn't want to do it because it just, I don't know, I didn't like it. I wasn't in the right vibe
so
to do some skywalking.
You're standing in line on the skywalk to what, get to the bow of it?
It's like a horseshoe.
It's like a half circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a horseshoe, and you have to walk out on there, and these people.
But is it like a track, or is there a solid floor?
It's a solid floor.
It's a solid floor.
It's not like a.
It's a plexiglass floor.
Okay.
So you can look down through it.
You want to talk about someone not having situational awareness? There was a couple there. They had to be on there taking photos for 30 minutes. They're laying on, I don't know if it's their engagement photos, but the girl's like laying down and has her legs sticking out, and the guy's like behind her straddling her, and they're like taking pictures.
Well, you're only going to go once, right? So people who just, whatever, they're like, we got to blow them all out right now.
I metaphorically
All
blew
these
my horn at them
dumb pictures.
because I'm like, this cannot be real.
What'd you say? Hey,
Bitch.
we're waiting.
I didn't say anything because my mom was like already, she was scared. Like,
What, bitch?
We didn't say anything, but she was like, "Ooh," she was like, "I'm not gonna look down." I'm like, the whole point of walking
Yeah.
out there is to look down.
a
You
glass
can't not
floor.
look down. But I was trying to I didn't want to touch the railing, but I was standing on like one of the steel beams, so even if the glass broke, I could stand on one of the beams that was underneath.
But somebody who is scared like that, the victory is just walking out on it.
Right.
Looking down, while that would be cool, I could see where she wouldn't want to do that.
I don't know why I didn't enjoy it because I walked all the way around. And
You
I was,
had a bad attitude about the Grand Canyon the whole time.
Well, he says he got COVID from
I didn't
the
want
bus.
to take the bus. I didn't want to take the bus. Had we drove out there and done it, it probably would have been a whole. Yeah, had we driven out there, it probably would have been a whole different vibe. But we had to get up early. We had to get up at like 5 a.m. in Las Vegas after a night of drinking and partying and sit on this bus for like 4.5 hours.
I'm with you. I would not have. That bus would have been the last place I would have ever wanted
We had
to
already
be.
paid for our tickets
Ugh.
on the way. Before we even got to Vegas, that was like one of our trips. My mom begged. And we were like, fine, we'll go to the Grand Canyon. We'll go to the Hoover Dam. We'll make it a day. And it was it was supposed to be a 12-hour day. It turned out to be a 16-hour day because
that bitch got lost.
that
4
bitch
extra
got
hours.
lost. and we had to like literally stop, and the whole tribe, essentially, if that's politically correct, working the working the SkyWalk, had to like call her and like find her because she was at the wrong station to be picked up.
Mom, nobody wants to see that cop. We'll get the tickets.
Is it a local tribe that runs that?
Yeah.
It's
Really?
like one tribe
Just
that
that half.
runs that.
Oh, I thought it was under the jurisdiction of the national parks.
It's just
one part of it.
the tribe. Oh, I see.
there's that's like the west entrance or something, and then there's the other side. So there's 3 sides. There's the side that the tribe owns. There's the side that the national parks owns, and then there's the northern side of it.
I see. I didn't know that.
The Native Americans own a good portion because we had to take 3 separate buses.
Good for them.
Within
The SkyWalk is managed by the Hualapi tribe
Good
Yeah.
for
Yes,
them.
and
that's
located
That's why
on
they
tribal
can
lands.
charge for it.
Oh, that's great.
It's
Oh, I
like-
didn't know that. I
yeah.
thought it was just
their
like
land.
the government and the national parks. I see.
Yeah, because we had to take
That was
a
a
bus
good
there.
investment for them to buy that.
Sky.
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
To buy that.
We gave them some
that
pox
canyon
infested
that they
blankets.
owned in the first place.
Good investment. They believed in America.
Yeah. All right. But you get out there, and since you're not somebody who's taking engagement photos, what's the average time people are out there?
People usually go out
Couple
there.
minutes?
You take maybe 5. I'll even give you 10. Take 10 minutes. They were out there for a half hour. They took pictures with just them 2. Then they had to get the kids in there. Then they got the blended family. And then they all wanted to do a separate pose. They wanted to act like they were afraid.
Were they
I'm
all
like,
dressed alike?
No, because the 2 people, clearly, it had to be like engagement photos.
Again,
or
this is the one time they're going to go
Rent it
out
out.
there. They should get
Rent it
rented
out.
out.
Hours. Go after hours. There is a line of people. People were waiting in line for 2 hours.
But you know how expensive it was just to walk out there. I doubt they rent it.
We were going to miss our bus. You take a
I
bus to each
understand.
station,
I
and so you
understand.
get like 45 minutes.
But they also weren't going to leave without you.
Yes, I didn't want to be the person holding up the bus like the chick did that wasn't at the right station.
That you didn't leave.
Yeah.
So we were back early. I was forcing my mom. I'm like, Mom, she's like, wait, I want to buy a bunch of useless stuff at the gift shop. Like
She said
That's
it
what
just
she
like
said.
that.
feathers and all type. I'm like, Mom, you don't need this. It's going to be like in a room or in a box somewhere that you're never going to touch. And then you're going to forget that you had it. And you're like, oh, I'm never going to touch this again. No, we're getting back to the bus. She's like, all right, fine. Just spoil my good time.
And you're like, I will.
And
It's
That's why I
Spoil my
brought
good
you
time.
That's what my good time is ruining your good time.
And actually,
Well, your mom's got to move for everything, doesn't she?
I actually,
She's like, I know where you got it. You have, it doesn't matter if they don't make sense. You have a response or a comeback for everything.
the lady that got lost or that we had to stop for actually kind of proved my point. So I didn't have to say anything. I said, I don't want to be the person last on the bus because that person clearly didn't know what time we were supposed to meet back. And then when she was so late, I didn't even have to say anything. I looked back at my mom and she's like, see? Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm never gonna hear the end of it. Like she was like, I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. It would be rude to say I told you so. But in my head, I'm saying.
Your mom's not mad she's late. She's mad that you were right.
Yes.
She can care less that she's late.
Uh-huh. You know, when you tell someone it would be rude to say I told you so.
I'm bad at that.
That's kind of. You're bad at what?
I liked saying I told you.
I wasn't.
Why?
I just was
There's
very.
no upside to I told you so.
I was very passive aggressive. I just would have my water and just make my lips stick out.
You were playing Parched? That was your.
Ugh, it would be great to be back in my hotel bed, above Fremont Street. That's really loud. I can't wait to take a nap when I get home.
Wow. He was mad because he was late for his nap.
Well, he had a big
vacation.
day. Yeah.
That was an entire day. We set aside an entire day to do that. And I didn't even get to have gay day. I told everyone, I said, all right, everyone else gets to do stuff. We saw the Jabberwockies with my mom. She actually got 2 days because we were out there because of her in the first place. So she had the Jabberwockies at the resort, and then we did the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. My brother, we got to walk the strip because he wanted to do something with Adele, but she wasn't even there. And I was like, okay, we're going to have a gay day for me. And we didn't even get to make it we didn't even get to go to the clubs.
Do you see the Adele video from her? She's back doing her residency there in Vegas, where she's talking about like her boobs are sweating from the Spanx and all that.
Probably.
And people are like, she's so relatable. I'm like, I don't know that I'd want to hear. I like a little showbiz.
Yeah,
My
but
boobs are
women
sweaty.
like that.
Huh?
There was, when I was in Grand Rapids, there was a sign on the women's bathroom stall that said 1 person per stall. You figure it out why that's in there. But when
It's the club.
when I related, I was like, what is happening in here? I related it to women saying that, like, when you're drunk trying to get a bodysuit back on, you need your friend's help. And the women loved it. You know what I mean? Like, that was some of the biggest
Like
reactions
they're putting
I
their
got.
foot in your back and trying to get the
Yeah,
snaps
they're trying
done.
to get, because it's like a baby onesie where it clips
Right.
down by your crotch.
You got the snaps in your cooter.
And if you're hammered and it's tight, trying to pull that thing closed is almost impossible. And that was like some of the biggest reactions I got from the girls was like, I've been drunk in a bodysuit, you know?
But
People
why
just
do you-
want to relate.
Why do you
Drunk in a
guys
bodysuit.
do that to yourselves?
Because it snatches.
Because it's better to look good than to feel good. How many times
But
do I
they
have
don't
to
even
repeat
look
myself?
good.
They look great.
Bodysuits do not look
When
good.
you
They
get a
do.
girl home and the bodysuit, you just snap those snaps open down there and it goes boing, like a cartoon where the guy's things
and it
flap
reminds
up
you of
and-
a
And your-
child.
Your belly's out.
Well,
Brian
no,
calls
she
it
said a onesie.
Brian calls it a onesie. He doesn't like
It
them.
is a onesie.
He thinks it's the stupidest thing on the planet. He's like, "Are you wearing your onesie out tonight?" I'm like, "I am wearing my onesie."
Adele said her Spanx gave her jock itch.
Yeah.
And it was like,
When
woohoo!
I do my shows, I wear Spanx, keep it all in a bit, make it look a bit neat. And I sweat a lot, but it doesn't go anywhere, so I'm basically just sitting in my own sweat. So my doctor gave me jock itch. Do you guys know what that is? Jock itch? Is it jock itch?
You know, it's hard to tell because she's got that thick Cockney accent. Jock itch. My face is sweating, my boobs are sweating. The whole bit.
You put some
Everybody's
gold bond on there. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was chub rub. I thought the ladies' version was chub rub to jock itch.
I don't
Isn't it
think
chub
that's
rub?
scientific.
Well, Adele
Get you
has her
some
PhD.
Lotrimin, babe.
Lotrimin. All right. I got a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, I'll have Guardians tickets for you a little bit later on. I'm going to have the next key for the Buzzard bike. Hopefully, it fires up this custom Harley we're giving away for you. Closer to 440, I will have that next key for you if you're trying to get one of those. And we'll be back after these.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 W.